so they cannot do that. But I'm at the gym, because that's what I do. Hi everyone, I'm Teonna. Um, I am a newer agent, and sometimes I forget because it feels like family here already. But I just joined KW last July 2023. And it's been pretty exciting. I built most of my sphere from social media, which we'll talk about. I'm very passionate about it because I'm a mom. I just up until October 2024, I was doing part-time real estate. I was able to do 5 million in production solo. Somebody help our agents. Don't lie, you were not part-time real estate. You were a full-time teacher. That's very yes. That's true, Sass. That is true. I was full-time real estate and a full-time teacher. And I just remember saying, like, I would come to the trainings and I would ask my director, hey, on my lunch break, can I like go to the training down at Walnut Street at my office? And she would let me go. And I'm like, well, I have to make this make sense because I didn't want to like teach forever. And at the trainings, everyone would say, you got to call 10 people a day. You got to talk to 15 people a day, 20 people a day. Like, where do they talk to all these people at? And so that's why I started leveraging social media, because I'm like, if I'm at work all day, in the classroom, at school, where do I have time to like talk to this many people, meet this many people a day? That's how I got started with social media, and it's been amazing. But one thing that I do know with any skill is that it's mindset before skill set. I'm going to sit here and tell you a lot of things to do with social media that have worked for me. I'm like living proof that it works. However, if you don't have the mindset of like, I'm going to do it, it's just going to sound like I'm telling you a lot of stuff to do. Just with everything, cold calling, door knocking, it's going to sound like one more thing. But if you're on your phone all day, why not go ahead and make it? Like, if you are part-time, which maybe a lot of realtors who start off like me are part-time, why not go ahead and maximize like what you do have? I can't control everything. I can't do everything all the full-time agents are doing, but like I can maximize what I do. So that's kind of where social media comes in. Got it. Okay, I'm going to move them out the way. A little bit about me, 7 years, licensed in 2021. For my first 2 years of my license, I only had 2 transactions. I was with another brokerage, and a lot of it was what new agents say today. I'm procrastinating, I'm nervous, I don't know what to do. I feel like I need to know everything before I actually get a client. That was definitely me. I wasn't using social media. I wasn't cold calling. I was doing none of the things. I thought like maybe these would come to my door. So I had 2 closed transactions, about 800 followers on social media. Wasn't really leveraging that. Came to KW in July. By I think January that first year, I received the Rising Star from PC. I had closed my first 6 transactions and then graduated PC, and then went on as a solo agent to close 22 deals over the past 12 months, and then built my social media community to 17,000. My pipeline is about 800 members, so like on command and all those cool things. And now I'm assistant pro coach with Tess Adams and Alexandra Jordan. So that's super exciting. I just got to real estate full-time, like less teaching in October. So in the past, what's that, like 16, 17 months, I've been able to do all of that. And it's a testament to social media. But of course, mindset as well, which is like even bigger than social media or whatever you do. Just a snapshot of my growth. So this is when I first started social media, and people say, well, what made you start social media? Tess gave us a challenge in PC, and she said, post every day in November. That's all she said. She didn't say any systems, any tools. She didn't give us like any guidelines. She just said post every day. And at the time, I'm like, well, I only had like 3 or 4 transactions. I'm like, I need more leads. And Tess told us, you got to think 60, 90 days out. A lead I get today is not going to post for another 60, 90 days. So I'm like, well, if it's November, I can go ahead and try to get some leads, and then maybe I can close next year. So that's all she said, and I just kind of built it out from there. But this is kind of how that grew. I just started posting reels, some about real estate, some about being a mom, some about going out to brunch. And then kind of this is where we are now, a little family of 17,000, all from less than 1,000. So good question. So we did the challenge in November. It started to go by January. So like 2 months later, it was like growing so fast. And I would look at my phone. I'm like, let me screenshot this so I can like capture it along the way of how fast it was growing. And then this is once like the leads start coming and everybody's commenting and everything. I'm like, how can I capture all this information? Because it's one thing to have comments and likes. That's great, like wonderful. But like, where are the leads at? So then I came to another training in December, I think it was by Coalition Properties, and they said, put a Calendly link in your like bio and have people do consultations. So I did that. And then this is like the first 5 months of 2024, all the consultations I was getting from Instagram alone. Every blue you see here was that. Orange is coaching because I went to PC every single day. I would be at work on my lunch break, like on my phone on Zoom. And then you're probably thinking, well, Teonna, when did you make all these calls? I also did that on my lunch break. I had about a 1 hour lunch break and then like a 30 minutes of my partner's lunch break. I would like ask her, can I make some calls? And yeah, I would just call in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'm going through the buyer consultation, asking them questions. But this was the first 5 months, and I did this almost like every single day, as you can see. My Calendly link, like, you know, the free Calendly, you could just schedule an appointment. It was in my bio on Instagram, and then that's how they would get there, and that's how I got all these. But this happened all throughout 2024. As I got more savvy, I found out some other tools I could use as well, and I'll go over those. But again, this all just started from her saying post on social media, something that everybody can do. All right, so typically new agents, and I like to kind of focus on new agents, but any agents who just feel like I'm not getting the leads or maybe the transactions that I want, we always say we're not consistent, but really you are consistent. Either you're consistently doing what you need to do or consistently not doing what you need to do. There's no you're not consistent. There's one or the other. You just have to choose which consistent you want to be. So prior to using social media, I was consistently posting infrequently. I was feeling insecure. Am I posting too much real estate content, right? A lot of those barriers that we have mentally, imposter syndrome. I was a new agent. I had only had maybe 3 or 4 closings by that time. And I'm like, you know, I'm not closing hundreds of $1 million in real estate. Like, am I the realtor that like I'm presenting myself as? So it was a lot of that. I didn't connect my life with my business. I was the realtor posting like, oh, use me as your realtor, use me as your realtor. It wasn't personable. I didn't know what to post. I didn't have a lead magnet. I didn't have a system. So this was absolutely me. This was me. Now, post 3 to 5 times a week. I'm the go-to real estate for real estate inspiration for my sphere. So friends, family, work. If you follow me on social media, they'll come to me and ask me all kinds of real estate questions. And I have no idea what they're talking about at the time. But I know a resource. And so that's kind of how I stopped putting myself in a box of I don't know something, so I don't want to put myself out there. It's like either Tess knows it, Andrew knows it, somebody. Out of all these 1,100 agents we have at KW, somebody knows the answer. And so that helped me step into, it's okay if I don't know everything because I have resources. I am a successful realtor, continuing to grow a successful business. More than a realtor, I'm a mom, a friend, a teacher, a public speaker, a brunch lover. And so I hope that resonates with someone else. You don't have to be like the best realtor in the world for people to connect with you. Like to go to brunch, connect with people, you know, talk about motherhood, talk about your pet. People love talking about their pets. I work out a lot. I love wellness. So I meet a lot of clients from just doing that. So don't feel like you only have to talk about real estate on social media. That's not true. Because a lot of conversations build trust. So if I work out with you 5 days a week, you probably start to trust me. And then when you're ready to buy a house or rent or something like that, you're going to come to me. Asking my community what to post. I literally post in my stories. What questions do you guys have about real estate? Right? Like, don't overthink it. Just be personable. Ask questions. People will start to ask you questions. I make my content my lead magnet, so I don't have something in my bio like a downloadable freebie or something like that. I have them and I use them with my clients, but that's not my lead magnet. I just use my content as, oh wow, she's talking about a grant, or wow, you know, she's talking about the process to purchase a home. That's my lead. That way I'm not doing all these extra things. I use that as my lead. I get their information and I'll show you how I get their information. Use systems to capture and retain leads. I'm being my bubbly self. That was also a thing. I also felt like when I got into real estate, I had to be like this really stoic, put together person because that's what I saw in real estate. That's what I thought everybody was like. But I found that just being Teonna's regular, bubbly, professional self works. Trying, failing, and getting better. I fell faster than a lot of the other people I know. I'm okay with failing fast, right? What's the worst that can happen when I post something? I'm going to have to delete it, right? If I have a typo on a reel, I'll just delete it. Or if a reel doesn't do great, I'll just delete it or remove it or keep it. Like, it doesn't matter, but I'm willing to fail faster. And it's not that I'm the best realtor or the best content creator. I'm just willing to put myself out there and do it. So a lot of you are probably amazing content creators. It's just that you haven't put yourself out there to do it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about systems because again, I don't care about the likes. I don't care about how many followers I have. I care about how many houses I'm closing. So the why. At the time when I started in November, the November challenge, I said I wanted $1 million in gross commissions. I need at least 2 transactions of 250,000 on average a month, and I need to speak to 13 people 5 days a week. That's kind of how I broke my numbers down. So by doing that, that's how I started posting reels. The what? I'm a social person. I leverage that, and it's like free. Like, I mean, you don't pay for social media, so that was a great reason why I did it. I was a teacher. I wasn't making like all this money, so we needed to make it work. And then the how. So I would post. I would engage on the post. People would comment. I use my Calendly link. That's how I capture their email, their phone number, their name, and that's also free. I scheduled. Once I got them on the phone, that was it. Right? They hear this bubbly personality. Tiana's connecting with you, talking with you. I'm really personable. I rarely have clients who call me and like we don't end up working together, or they don't like, kind of stay in my pipeline. So that's the goal there. Again, free, very easy. What the heck to post? Okay, I get this question a lot when I do this class. Instagram stories, questions, frequently asked questions, any questions people ask of you about real estate, that's what you make content about. Because if that one person had a question about it, other people. So if people are always coming to you asking, oh, what grants are for first-time home buyers? Or, what places in Fishtown have parking garages or something like that? If people are asking you, just post about it. What are you learning? So when I'm in class, I'm in trainings. When I was in PC, I was taking pictures of that, posting what I was learning, experience. And then at the time, I wasn't using ChatGPT, but I use it a lot more now. You can literally type in ChatGPT, give me 50 problems first-time home buyers have and 50 solutions. And then you can just kind of curate and come up with different kind of content to put that out there. I literally posted this like a reel of me walking in the street after a bunch of my girlfriends, and I said something about goals about it, and like all these people followed me and like captured. I was able to capture their information. So again, it doesn't always have to be real estate related because people do want to see you're like a real person and they want to kind of associate with you. Again, how to capture leads, use Calendly. If you have a downloadable file, that's great. If you have a first-time home buyer workshop, if you do those, that's also great. So just something that after they go in your comments, they need to feel like, oh, I need to connect with her. I need to connect with him. Where are they going? Are they scheduling a consultation or are they coming to a buyer workshop? So don't just have like a blank bio with no link in it. Like you need a link to capture that information. All right, how to secure the lead. Once I get them on the phone, I'm asking them questions and then I'm answering, kind of hearing where they are. Do they need help with credit? Do they need help with grants? Are they looking to relocate from Texas? So whatever they're telling me, I'm providing answers. I'm providing resources. While we're on the phone, I know that I have a credit professional that I'm going to follow up with and let them know about. I know that I have a lot of my like higher income earners. They'll say like, Teonna, I know I make the money, but like I don't budget it enough. And so after having lots and lots and lots of conversations, I said, okay, this is the issue that people have. Let me make sure that I have a resource to follow up with them because now I'm providing value. I'm not the budget lady. I'm not the financial planner. I'm not the credit person. But being able to provide that resource means that I provide a value. They're like, oh, thank you so much, Teonna. And that's been really great as well. You need a system to follow up with them. As soon as I get off a consultation call, I send them an email immediately, right? Because it gives them action. It makes me look really professional, very valuable. Oh, but she's fast. I like her. Other realtors don't follow up with me so fast, right? So it's just these little things you can do to build that connection with them to like they want to work with you, whether it's 6 months, a year down the line. Provide value and then take action. This was one of my clients, January last year. I posted about this grant. She let me know she wanted to connect with me. I said, what's your name and number? She closed 2 months later. And that's how it's been all 2024. 90% of my clients, those 22 clients I told you I had closed, 90% of them came from Instagram. Complete strangers. And we typically close in like 60 days. And 45 of those days are because the PHFA grant requires 45 days. But it's very possible. You can take a picture of this, but this is kind of like my spread for when I call on my consultations, because again, a lot of agents say, well, what do I say during the consultation? How do I make it not sound like so robotic? After I said this a lot of times, now I can like say it in my sleep. I say it in the market. I'm at the market and somebody sees I'm a realtor, I'm having this consultation right there. Hi, this is Teonna the Realtor. How are you? I know you scheduled a call for us to discuss home buying risk or purchasing a home this year. This won't be a long call, maybe 7 to 10 minutes. I just like to chat to get some background information to see how I can best help. They're like, oh, okay, I can do that. I'm in the car, I'm getting my kids out the car, but we can go ahead and have a 5-minute conversation. Easy as that. Tell me, have you done anything so far in the home buying process? They say no. You know, reassure them, say, great, you're in the right space. I'm going to help you through the whole process. They say, yes, I've got a pre-approval. Great. We talk about lenders. So again, after you do it a couple times, you kind of know what to answer. You can sit in my chair right there. That's what you do. Once you do that, you'll have, you'll get the feel for it. But when I first started, I'm just like saying by the word. I didn't really know what to say, but it gets better. Okay, again, how to convert the leads. I just like, this is me, my lenders, my savings match programs. If you don't know about those and you have a lot of buyers clients, that's a great resource. There are programs that say, like, if the potential buyer saves a certain amount of money, the program will match and double that. So for example, there's one that says if a buyer saves $2,000 toward their home purchase, the program will match and double it, so they'll give them $4,000. So that's a total of $6,000, and that doesn't even include any grants or like seller concessions or anything like that. But being able to tell my client that says, oh, it's, I'm having a hard time saving or XYZ, and having that resource available for them immediately makes me look like a rock star. Other realtors, we know referral programs. I get a lot of clients in Delaware, Jersey. I refer them out. Credit repair, grants. A lot of people say I'm the grant lady. If it works, it works. I think at the Coalition Properties Group training, they talked about this book, and then Andrew was so kind to give it to me, the 7 Levels of Communication. And this really helped me in my business because it made me understand, like, people think, like, we post on Instagram and every comment you get is going to be an immediate lead, right? They're immediately ready. They have a 700 credit score. They have $25,000 saved in the bank. Absolutely not. And that's why you have to talk to so many people a day. And not only that's why you have to talk to so many people a day, but you also have to be really intentional about how you're communicating with them, right? Advertising. So that's basically Instagram. I'm probably not going to get a lot of my clients just from posting something, right? But when I start to go higher up on that impact scale, that's how I'm getting my clients. So direct mail, I actually haven't done direct mail before, but posting, electronic communication, so that's our buyer consult, right? Phone call, event and seminars, I can invite them to a first-time home buyer workshop, and then a one-on-one meeting. A lot of times, I'm not meeting my clients from Instagram until we're going on showings. That's sometimes the first time I meet my clients. But already knowing in my mind and not getting defeated, oh, I posted and nobody has a 700 credit score. Like, it's just very rarely does it happen. But already knowing in my mind, okay, if I can get them to post and comment, if I can get them to book a consultation with me, I can lock it in after that. Because now I have them on command, and I'll show you guys how I ended up building that out. But I think this is important to understand because you can have the followers, you can have the likes, you can have the comments. That's not going to get you to closing. It's the whole tier. You have to be intentional about your communication. And then this just kind of shows what I just showed you, but that pyramid, advertising is posting, electronic communication, phone calls. This is a picture of my buyer consultation, event, workshop, and then in-person showings.
How often are you doing seminars?
Before I got like just inundated, I would do them at least once a month. So I started with virtual. I did have a few in person. I just found their virtual for me just seemed more convenient. But at least once a month. If I could do it all over again, I'll probably have them twice a month, one in the morning every month, and then one in the evening. So that's what I'm starting this year. Because obviously, like some people can do weekend morning, some people can do weekday evening. So that's what I'm going to try. All right, and then systems. This is also something that I started to build out. So me telling you this, you're going to be ahead of me because I had to figure this out along the way when I started to get like hundreds of people scheduling consultations. All right. So when I first started, I was like, when I was calling them on the phone, I would type everything in my notes app or like a Google document. I'm just like, let me get this information. Now I use Command. So they schedule on Calendly. If you've heard of something called Zapier, write this down or type it in, Zapier. Zapier is an automation system, so you can put it into where as soon as someone schedules a consultation using Calendly, it'll go straight to your command. Because when I first started, everyone who put a email or consultation in, I had to retype it in command, and it just started taking more time than like again, I'm a mom, I'm working, I don't have time for that. Exactly. Like it's just so much more, it's so much more intentional, right? If it could go right to command, now their name is in their email, everything. So when I have the consultation with them on Wednesday, I can just go right to the notes in command and type everything in there. So it just becomes more of a system. And again, I had to figure that out the hard way, but hopefully you'll use that. Zapier is free, Command is free, Calendly is free. So none of these are like paid systems. CapCut is a video editing tool that I use for social media. If you have a question about like, okay, how do I edit reels or anything like that, you can use CapCut. That's also free. Calendar app, just on my phone, Command. And Eventbrite is how I post my homebuyer workshops. Let me think. Anything I've started using since then? Oh, ManyChat. If you've never heard of that, ManyChat. So prior to ManyChat, when people would comment on my reels, I was like hand responding, like, okay, go to your DMs, or every single one, or the ones that I could catch anyway. But I heard of ManyChat, and they respond for you. So it's another automation tool where they can respond for you, and you can kind of set it up to where you don't have to respond to 100 comments. Exactly. ManyChat.
Yeah, if you ever see somebody saying, hey, comment X or whatever it is, it's to you directly through DMs. If you comment on one of my stories right now, you'll get something from ManyChat.
Exactly. That is a game changer, because for all of 2024, I was doing it by hand.
ManyChat.
ManyChat. I don't know if it's an app, but I use it on my desktop. Oh, it's the app on your phone.
You can also use it via your desktop as well. But instead of them going to your bio, which is an extra step, which you're going to lose people, now it just sends the link right to
there. Because sometimes if someone isn't following you and they have like a private page, you won't be able to message them, and then like you'll kind of lose the lead basically. Versus ManyChat, however they do it, they're able to message that person right away, even if that person's page is private. So a lot of those leads that I probably lost because I was hand commenting, you guys will hopefully capture from using ManyChat.
Yeah, they say do not use.
Exactly. Ever. Yeah, never again. Let me think. Any questions so far? I know it's a lot of information. Yes, Lenny.
The other app that you mentioned prior to.
Oh, Zapier. Zapier. And you could do so many things with Zapier, but I primarily use it so that I don't have to manually put the client's information into command. And the other thing about that, sorry, Andrew, is because it does that, it goes right to command. After my notes, so I'm on the phone with them, I'm typing their information in my notes when they're saying, oh, I'm looking for this house and that house. I put tags, I'm putting all that information in, we hang up, and then I immediately put them on a smart plan. So it helps me be way more efficient, because I just got off the phone with them. I need them getting my emails. I need them getting whatever newsletters I have, right? Because I'm not going to call these people all the time. Just like Bill Kelly said, like it needs to be 36 touches, and so putting it right into command is a way that I was also able to maximize that one lead. All from a comment off of Instagram. All right, here's some more of my cheat sheets, digital resource. I don't put this in my link in bio, but I do send this after I get off the phone. So my follow-up email, I tell them, hey, if they needed credit services, that's in the follow-up email. If they needed budgeting, if they needed savings match program, all of that is in my follow-up email. I also include a 30-day check-in, depending on where they are in their process. So if they did need additional support with credit or savings, we check in every 30 days. If clients are more ready, like, maybe a hotter lead, a warmer lead, we check in a little more frequently. But in general, I do a 30-day check-in with each lead. I include a home buyer's roadmap. I think at one point I had, I think it was another resource, but sometimes I update that. Here's my questions for my Calendly. I keep it really simple because I don't want them to feel like, oh, this is taking forever. Like, why do I have to fill this out? It's just their name. They can check off their first-time home buyer or looking to sell. Just something super simple. And then this is how many Calendly I think this was about probably like 3 months in, I had 341 appointments just from Instagram. And then I just took a screenshot, I think in December, and it was almost 900. Just from calling alone, I had, what was it? 881, like 881 consultations just from social media.
What else you did?
Exactly. Like, yeah, especially because I was taking the calls, again, on my lunch break, and then I was listening to this podcast, and they said you have to win on your lunch break before you win in front of the world. Like, that just stuck with me because, like, it wasn't pretty. I'm like in my teaching clothes. I want to go to lunch. I want to go to Wawa, but it's like I have to make these calls because, like, I don't want to be doing this forever. So it just was like you just gotta sacrifice. You had to make it work. And then if some clients needed calls after, like in the evening after work, me and my son go home, set him up, and then I'm doing another maybe an hour or two of phone calls from like 4 to 6 or 5 to 6:30 or something like that. But it was all worth it because 22 of them got to the closing table. And that's when it was just me. Yes, Lenny.
I sat next to Teonna when she was doing her consultation. One of the things that I did notice is she kind of timed them out where you kind of had to have a follow meeting. It was no more than 15 minutes, and then you had to have a follow meeting to get additional information. And she just does it like, well, I'm up. Want to make me do this with you? All right, I'll call you back. Such and such. And you're like, oh, okay. And it's just like, it abruptly stopped. It was like, okay, she said she's going to call you back.
Yeah, because we're not spending 30 minutes on it. Like for me, it didn't make sense. I'm at work. I have to call as many people as possible. Now, I have more time to do that, but I'm just able to get it so efficient. I can get all of my answers from you now without me even having to use that consultation list, right? Like, because I just do it so often. And then I say, hey, do you have any other questions? And I'm like, actually, no, like you answered everything, right? So it does get better. And I know that's sometimes like a fear of newer agents. Like, what do I talk about? What if I stumble? I'm positive I did.
Can you take command of the conversation that you talked to the other day?
Yes.
Like, stop asking them because they don't know. You're there to inform. So quit asking them questions.
Yes.
You tell them what they need to know. You let them know when you're going to call back and know what they're going to do. It's like, I don't think if you're a parent, you kind of learn.
Balance.
You kind of give a little bit of the decency and make it seem like you're asking them to do something for you, but you're not. You're really telling them. It's like a tone. It's like something you learn from like mom or dad.
Exactly.
Like, oh yeah, you're gonna wash the dishes. You can't really tell if that's a question or
but you're gonna do it. Yeah.
So
that is very true.
That's what Teonna is master there. So she's letting them know, like, I'm a professional, I'm in charge of this conversation. What you're about to do. They need to be.
Exactly. And then they love it. They're like, that's my homegirl. Yeah. And then something else I was telling another agent, like, you have to have this kind of confidence. And like they say, you have either confidence or success. And so when you're a newer agent, you're like, well, I don't have the successes yet. So then you seem to not have the confidence. But it's really like just a mindset. I have to be the realtor that I'm going to be. Like, I have to start now. And that was like, so when I say mindset, I listen to podcasts every morning. I listen to motivational speeches every morning. Like, because other than that, what are you listening to? Like, you're listening to the world tell you that you're not the top producer. So I got into like this top producer mindset. I would write that I'm a top producer even before I became one. And so if nothing else, I would say like put that into your mindset, because even social media, right? You go on social media and some people have millions of likes and millions of views and everything like that. And here you are starting off posting and you have 3 posts and they have like 3 likes and you start to get discouraged. But you're like, look, I need to talk to 13 people a day so I can make $1 million, gross commission. Like, you have to have that bigger mindset and that bigger vision for your life, your goal, your real estate business. These are 2 of my first Instagram clients, I call them. This is Albert. He's actually my credit repair specialist. And I reached out to him. Someone posted him and said, hey, like, I was able to buy a house. Albert helped me with my credit. So I reached out to Albert only to ask him for his information so I could share with my clients. Come to find out, he was looking to purchase an investment property in Philly, and then we closed. So that was super exciting. And I was like, oh, I can really do this. Like, I got this. And then I got the hang of it. This is Benta. This is the one that closed in March after 2 months. And she just messaged me on Instagram. So my hope for you is that you post every day in January. We're already at the 7th. Post every day. It can be pictures. It could be a reel. It could be a question. Post, build up the consistency. Set up your Calendly. Create email templates for your follow-ups. So what kind of information do you want your clients to receive as soon as they get off the phone with you, right? And then create your resource list. Who are you going to have for credit repair? Who are you going to have for, or whatever, clients you market towards. Now, if you are more listing side, then you would obviously tweak your content and your like follow-ups for that. I tend to just have a lot more buyers because I focus on grants a lot. And then people ask, well, Teonna, how do you know about all these grants? I like Google and I look it up. And if the agent calls me and says, can you tell me about all the grants in Philadelphia? Number one, no, right? But number two, like, you have to do the work, because I think a lot of what I do is just because I know how hard it was to figure it out and do the work. So like when you go to people, you ask them, can you tell me this? Can you do this? I'm not on Instagram. She's a realtor in Texas, and this is my first time seeing her. So that's I'm like, wait, I know that face. It's the same. So yes, okay, so grants, I don't know everything about grants, and I always tell people I don't try to act like I'm the professional in grants, but what I do is I read and I just do my research. It's probably the teacher in me, that like, I just like to learn a lot, and I like to be able to give them at least some information, because a lot of my first time home buyers are asking me, okay, what's like the minimum credit score I might need, or how much do I have to have saved? So if I'm educated on the grant qualifications, at least in some kind of capacity generally, I can say, okay, look, our goal is going to be like that 640, 660, the higher the better, right? But to think that you can call people and just ask them, okay, tell me all of this, and then I'm going to go do it. It doesn't really work that way. Because you have to have that grit. You have to have that experience of figuring things out sometimes, I think, to like really be in it for your business. And then these are all my wonderful clients I post from Instagram over 2024. I always update this collage, and it just, like, it's possible. Like, literally in the past year, I've been able to go from having 2 closings to 24, all through social media. It's free. I don't really pay much. I spend money on my clients now once they become my clients, because I like buy them gifts and stuff like that. But outside of that, that's really it. If you need a list of like the systems that I showed, I will like email it to you, so that you can start to implement that, because it's one thing to come to these classes, but it's another thing to actually do the things. This is free. You don't have to cold call. Anybody like cold calling in here? I don't. I've never cold called. I don't like it. I've never door knocked. I don't like that. But I'm not the agent that says, oh, I don't like doing any of that, so I'm going to do nothing. You have to pick something that you don't like, and then you have to do it. I didn't necessarily like posting on social media. When I first started, I had 800 followers and like a few posts about random things. So it's not that I loved it. I don't love going to work, right? Like, there's a lot of things I don't love that I have to do. I don't love making my son pancakes every morning, but I have to do it. Like, it just, some things you just have to do. And then the idea is that I won't have to do this forever, because now I don't have to post every day, every month. A lot of my clients now are referrals. So those clients that I closed last year, I have a lot of referrals from this year. So if you feel like that sounds like a lot of work, Teonna, it was a lot of work, but it worked.
There's no shortcut.
There's no shortcuts at all. At all.
Yeah, you need to be like the numbers by being
No, it doesn't work. But I know a lot of times agents are like, well, I spent all this money on, my license and XYZ, like I need something that's free, and you have social media right there, and everyone's on their phone all the time. There's actually like all these videos out right now that social selling is going to be like the #1 way to market your business. Think of like QVC, but for real estate.
TikTok shop.
Exactly, TikTok shop. Like, if you're not on social media, it's just, what are you really doing? Unless you're doing obviously something else that might be giving you that business. But any questions for me?
What are your best performing real estate? What's working best for you?
Best performing are the ones that are about real estate, but not like directly. So when I talk about, I did this one reel where I said, oh, there's a new grant out, but it didn't even talk about the actual grant. And like that one did like 800 and something. Or there's one where I'm walking down the street talking about like, oh, I want to connect with other like-minded women with goals. And that one did like 400 or something. So yeah, those do a lot of, because I think what it does is it's widening this gap. Sometimes we talk to people about real estate. They go like, oh, I'm not looking to buy a house right now. Versus if I'm talking about goals, well, probably if you're going to buy a house in the future, you probably are very goal oriented. So when you see posts about goals, and you see posts about, me having goal partners and things like that, you're like, oh, I like her. I want to do that too. And then you end up staying for the real estate content. So that's why I always say you don't have to stress yourself about like, oh, do I post the house every day? Or just to kind of be yourself. But yes, you do want to talk about real estate, obviously, because you're a realtor. You want leads. Yes.
Did you use any Instagram automation software that like auto posts for you every couple days or anything?
I did not. That's probably a really good idea, but I just saw it as like one thing that I'm going to also have to do. So that's why I didn't do it because then I'll have to sit down and book it out. But I know for like PC, we schedule their first 30 days of content. So it could be a good method if you're going to do it. But don't say, okay, I'm going to do that and then never do it and then you don't have any content. So even if you're like, you know what, on Monday, I'm going to schedule my content. If it's Thursday, you still need to post something. I think that's the immediate action. Again, don't think about having it perfect. Don't think about I'm going to fail. It's not going to do well. Like do something because if nothing else, you'll always get better.
You have like two options. That's one, you pay someone to go create all your content
Yeah.
for you. Or you time block to sit and do all your content creation and scheduling, and you have commands you can schedule out from now till eternity. You log into Meta and have it go to your Facebook and Instagram.
And that's free too.
I, because I've so many different companies that I do it for and agents, I use Loomly. And you have to pay for that after you have like one account or so many social setup. But Loomly lets you post to like every single type of social media platform and reels versus still like it's very in depth. But again, that is like a before version, but you have so many free options. Command will do, what's it, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I think, or something along like that. I don't really use Twitter, but for social media, but those are your two options. There's no like in between, either pay, have someone do it for you, leverage that, 'cause you're getting all your time back.
Yeah.
Or you just time block. Like I teach PC to pick one day a month, and that's your social media day, and you're creating your content and you're scheduling it for the next 30 days. And then put it on your calendar, your next social media day to do at least 30 days at a time. Because you should not be posting or creating content every day. Because you have other lead generation, like activities to do. If you are spending a couple hours a day just creating content and scheduling it, you're wrong. You gotta figure something else out. But those are your options. You either completely pay for someone else at that party to take care of it for you, or you time block that way and schedule.
I'm sorry.
Or like the comment and the question for you, but like not for nothing, like you're very impressive.
Thank you.
And what you've done and the results are like super impressive. So
Thank you.
kudos to you.
I appreciate that.
Kudos to Tess and pro coach you that like that
That's
being
right.
there. And not for nothing, like what is there, 15 people in here? How many agents are in the brokerage? 1,000?
Yeah.
1,115. Like I said, kudos to all you guys for being in here. So it's like then it's just like how to take action.
Yeah.
Everyone should be in here.
Yeah.
Like it's the 80-20 rule, so 20% would be like 200. So it's very impressive. Like the value is like I'm taking notes. I like bring some of this to my team. My question for you is like if it hasn't happened yet, it will.
Yeah.
And that the question is it's like some of the listing side or referral, or like I always say like the buyers today or your listings 5 years from now. Has any of that happened yet, or maybe some talk of it that you can see? And if so, is that something that you're focused on?
Okay, so what I find now is that my buyers or just people who I've captured from Instagram, even if they haven't bought yet, when I call them and I do like a very strict 10 calls a day. Now I don't do as like many calls every day because I kind of figured out my system, but I do 10 calls every day. And when I make those 10 calls, I usually get another 1 or 2 referrals for like a listing or like, oh, my mom's looking to buy as well, or she's thinking about selling her house. So I usually get some kind of like lead like that, but that's from my initial buyers because that's how I got them because I talk about grant so much. But that is my goal. Yeah, that's my goal to have more listings. And I don't want to work as much. Yeah.
It's not just a goal.
Yeah.
It will happen. So,
yeah.
But it's something to kind of like, think about, like maybe you put something in your, your database 2 year.
Exactly.
Here's how much time we can
Yes, and that's why Bill Kelly's class was so good because because I work with buyers so much, just focusing on them, but also making sure I have my campaigns for my listings that may come from my pipeline.
Like it's needs to make a real, like one of your ones that you say are like kind of like real estate, but not.
Yeah.
You just need to simply say, did you have an unsuccessful sale this year? Has your house been on the market for X amount of days and that's because you already have the following. If you want to be a listing agent,
That's very true.
Like,
That's very true.
when you start talking like that, like, are you trying to sell your house, or in comments, like, I've sent out emails to expirers or whatever, I just get tracing, and like, has your house been on the market for more than 60 days? I already know the answer to the questions.
Yeah.
So that's what I put out there, and they're like, yeah, usually I get, always, walking by the spot, but like.
Exactly. So just making that pivot too,
Yeah.
I can do that. But I love that you guys said that because it challenges me. Tess knows I love a challenge. I love the November challenge. So I will I'll just let me know if you want me to send you like the list of systems that I use if you ever get it.
Just have one question. How do you find success with browsing, like, or having attention to something strange? Like, are you like tagging a specific location to grow so drastically from just strangers? I don't know exactly.
Okay, so when I went back through my like Instagram, whatever analytics that they give you, some of the reels, it says 0% of your followers saw this versus like 80% of people. So I don't get into the algorithm and stuff because it was stressing me out if I paid that much attention to it. But whatever they do, sometimes they just send it out to strangers. Some of my reels are literally they didn't show it to any people that I
You
follow.
still have thing like music too, certain like.
I do use like the trending. I don't want to theory, but I use like trending music. I try to listen to the whole thing so it's not like getting crazy by like second 29. Sometimes I do like tag Philadelphia or the location. Sometimes I don't. I just play around with it. But nothing like super strategic and specific. What I do know though, and I tell this to PC all the time, is it's like when you walk into like a store, a clothing store, sneaker store, and immediately when you go in or like Bath and Body Works, and they're like, oh, are you looking for anything specific? Hey, like so I try not to make my content that kind of content where it's like, are you looking for a realtor? And they're like, no, I'm actually not. But I try to make it personable about my life so that people are drawn to me and like, oh, she seems like a cool girl. She loves her goals. She loves being a mom, XYZ. And then when they get on the page and kind of get to know me a little bit more, then they see I'm a realtor and then they come to me. Some people, when I finally call them on a consultation, they're like, oh, I've been following you for 6 months and then I kept seeing you, so I just figured I might as well go ahead and schedule a consultation. And then they become one of my clients. So that's why I say post consistently. I don't have like a method, but I also think that's because I was just figuring out along the way. You know what I mean? Versus now, like this year, now that I've done a full year of this, 2025 is super like specific and strategic and I have everything written down.
And I find it's really the consistency too.
Yeah.
Like, when you post consistently, it will happen organically.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows how the algorithm works.
No, and it changes I feel like all the time.
And if you're liking other people's stuff, like eventually it clicks. I was looking at somebody's Instagram last night that had like 1 million views. But I looked at he posted every day, like 2 months ago, you get 3 likes, 30 views.
And so don't
And then one day it clicked and it's just like now that he's it.
See, that's what my question is, because I have some people that I follow that literally post all the time and good content, but they don't have any followers. I'm like,
Followers doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's the engagement. It's the views.
No, because
Another goal for you.
yeah.
Is fast forward to like maybe a family reunion or let's say like agent,
Mega
camp.
Instead of 50, it's like
I love that.
100,000.
One of my goals is I want to travel like to different states because this is like, I mean, you can't beat it honestly. Yes, Bree? That's my.
I think your content's really relatable, which helps people just kind of gravitate towards you, and it's kind of just like a hopeful story. Like,
Yeah.
oh, when I was this age, I got a duplex, and I did this, and I'm also a mom, and I have to like do all this football stuff
I
that I
love
don't really
that.
know about because I go to work and I sell houses, and you can do it too. So I think it being kind of motivational is good, and I think
I
the
love
way that you're posting currently is kind of like just changed a bit like over the last couple of years because I feel like I literally watched her Instagram kind of
Yes,
like,
she did.
okay, I'm doing but you're more like transparent. So it's like some worky stuff and then it's my girlfriend's birthday and I think maybe Nia was like away from work or something and you guys came down and it's like, oh, she's a nice person. She's
Exactly.
She's smart, she's knowledgeable, so I think that makes it really easy.
Yes.
Because I refer you to somebody in my family too, because I'm not licensed in PA.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, I think you'll be great. She's great, she's smart, she's super knowledgeable, like she's on the ball, like you'll be good to go. I can't help you, but I can find somebody that can.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think that really works out. It's just you give like
because by the time I get on the phone sometimes with the strangers, they're like, it's like I'm talking to my friend. It's like I never even met you.
Yeah.
in person, I had one client I met from Instagram. She saw me in Target. This is the person. She saw me in Target, and she like, Teonna, like, so be personable. Don't feel like you have to. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you. So yeah.
If you're ever stuck with, topics to talk about, like where do you go from here? Is it ChatGPT? Is it conversation you have with people?
That's a good question. I usually just go for like frequently asked questions. I'll just think about like, okay, what was my buyer? Because something I read a really long time ago for like posting content is like, what does your buyer need today? And so thinking about like what does your client need today? Do they need to know about the market? Do they need to know about how to spruce up their house for listing? So just thinking about like frequently asked questions, what does a buyer need or what does my client need now?
And I'm not going to answer this obviously for you, but I follow and watch like everything she posts. And I feel like it's very organic because you put your stickers up there with what questions you have, and the next like 25,000 stories is literally just answering that. And then it's more people engaged. You get a lot of shares from people that follow you as well, which I think also is really big. Because I know that I was talking to Kat earlier, and I was like, go check the class out and talk to her because I know that's my struggle. Like I don't have people sharing my stuff, so I'm like, oh, this is smart.
And I find that like me being just personable and this is just my personality, it made it easier to be consistent. Versus if I'm trying to show up as like this perfect put together Rittenhouse realtor, I would love a Rittenhouse clients, but that's not who I am on a daily basis. So I feel like I will overthink that kind of content. Versus my regular everyday content is going to be just me, Teonna, this is who I am. Now, am I also doing things on the side to get those higher price clients? Yes. But it's just you have to have a few different systems going at once, right? Instagram is kind of like what we call like my low-hanging fruit. Like that's why I get a lot of leads, I get a lot of people in my command, but I know eventually they're going to turn into referrals. But I'm not going posting on Instagram about grants for a $3 million client. You know what I mean? So you just have to have strategy, but don't feel like, oh, this client's on 250,000, whatever the lower price bracket is for you. Don't get discouraged about that. It's about maximizing that experience. If I give this person a really good experience with me, they're going to refer me. Everybody has an employer probably. They're going to refer me to their boss or to whoever else. So that's just another way to think about it. And Instagram is not my only source of like getting leads, but in 2024, that was definitely my main source. And it's a good source if you have no leads too. So if you have no leads, it's better than that. Alrighty, just let me know. I'll email you guys the list of systems if you need it. And I'm here if you need it. You're welcome. You're welcome.